Good morning. It is such a pleasure to welcome you all this morning. I make the choir do that every time we get together. It helps them, so why not? It helps us all get focused and be here together. I'm Chris Tackett. I'm your music director, choir director, piano player, polar bear wrangler. Whatever I can do, I'm here for it. So, I also get to be the first person to tell you, you know what this is? Lovely cell phone. Take a second and make sure it is set to silent or church mode or whatever you think works for you. We've got some really lovely music for you this morning, and most of it's late 18th, early 19th century. Two American composers, well, one American, one British composer. The American composer is William Billings, Boston-based. He's the first American-born composer in the European art tradition. So what we would call classical music today, Billings is the first American-born composer writing in this style. And I'll tell you a tiny bit more about the two pieces when we get to them. And also, the other composer I'm going to play for the keyboard music is Ignatius Sancho. Sancho was an African born on a slave ship. He wound up in Central America, and due to a situation of things, he wound up back in Britain, where he actually spent most of his time growing up. And he was freed. He worked as a dancing master, violinist, harpsichordist, pianist, and he also was very, very smart man, wrote and spoke very eloquently and very clearly. His memoir of having been born in slavery is the first such memoir in the English language. And he's active in the 18th century. So we'll have two of his little dancing pieces today as well. So once more, let's take a deep breath. It is wonderful to see you all here this morning, and I'm glad you're here.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist here in beautiful Tucson. My name's Alex, and I'll be your pastoral associate today. Whether you're joining us here in the sanctuary this morning or watching from home, live or later on YouTube in the future, we're really glad you're here with us. I like to quickly give thanks to Reverend Matthew Funk Curry, our minister, Chris Tackett, our music director, Stacy Sosa, our religious educator, and Kalea Martin, our administrator, as well as the volunteers that do help with the service. We have our AV team led by Lee, and also has Ann, Dan, and Vince, our welcoming team, as well as Joel Yellen, who does our song leading and our snacks. Also helped out with David on the snacks. So thank you all. Today's service continues our monthly theme of feminism, while also giving us time to share our joys and sorrows. It's a chance to show up as we are, whether we're carrying something heavy, celebrating something meaningful, or maybe a little bit of both. So wherever you're joining us from, we're grateful you're here and part of this community. As we move through the service, may this be a time for reflection and openness, and may this service be a source of connection and community. Thank you so much for being here. Our chalice lighting is Come Into This Circle of Sacred Space by Reverend Andrew Pakula, a British Unitarian minister. Come into this circle of community. Come into this sacred space. Be not tentative, bring your whole self. Bring the joy that makes your heart sing. Bring your kindness and your compassion. Bring also your sorrow, your pain. Bring your brokenness and your disappointments. Spirit of love and mystery, help us to recognize the spark of the divine that resides within each of us. May we know the joy of wholeness. May we know the joy of being together.
Today, there we are. Today we light our celebration chalice. And we do it to celebrate Dr. Padith Sunny Aslam. Sunny, husband and father, and Drew and his family are here today. A surgeon, a teacher, a generous member of our congregation, and a dear, dear friend. He was also an insightful writer and poet, and our grief is that last Sunday night he died. Being together with him just 1 week ago here for our congregational activities, his passing was surprising, stunning to so many of us. Back in 2021, Sunny taught an OLLI course called Longevity, Lifestyles, and the Quality of Life. He drew from his career as a physician and an instructor at Maine Dartmouth Family Medicine and American University of Antigua College of Medicine. He discussed the choices that we have for our lives, to live long, to have that quality. And he talked about diet and exercise, and he talked about community. Community. As his community of faith, we contributed much to the quality of Sunny's long and well-lived 88 years. And we know and we deeply feel that our congregation will not be the same without him. Back when I arrived here, Sunny started sharing with me his writing. He published a political satirical screenplay called I Was Beheaded. If you're curious, I have a copy and would love to share it with you. But he also began to share with me his poetry. On the occasion of my installation as your minister, he wrote this poem. An event is taking place in Tucson. People are getting together. They are planning. Committees are humming and they are thinking together. He, she, they, all ready. Communities are all engaged too. They are clear that the venue, and they are making nearby trails and paths open. They are going to design and to decorate. They're going to transform the community. They're going to break bread together. They're going to sing. They're going to dance. And Orange Grove, as a place of worship, is going to ring with goodwill and love. A shared ministry is being celebrated. We are all humbled and pleased this is a shared ministry. We feel grateful as well as proud that you find us able to minister. We feel pleased you recognize we are walking the walk. In our hearts, you are already installed, but we are happy to celebrate it again. He was telling us then, and he tells us today, that we were a vital part of his life. And today we recognize he continues to be a vital part of our congregation. He always will be. And so for all that he is, all that he all was, and the love that we share that does not die, we celebrate Sonny Aslam.
It is slightly.
Yeah, we have a song first. That's the next slide.
Okay.
Well, why don't you introduce our song first?
This is the first of two pieces of William Billings. Once again, American composer, Boston area, 18th century. This first one's published in 1781. The second one we're going to do in a moment is from 1770. David the king, in a story from 2 Samuel, has been estranged from his son, Absalom, and he learns that his son has been killed in battle, and David's heart is torn out. David the king was grieved and moved. He went to his chamber and wept. And as he wept and said, "O my son, O my son, would to God I had died. Would to God I had died for thee, O Absalom, my son, my son." And all together.
Our choir will now lead us in an antiphonal reading called A Lament by the Reverend Dr. David Breeden. An antiphonal reading means that one side of the congregation will read one part, and then following that, the other side of the congregation will read the next part, and the words will be up on the screens. We cry out in grief
at the suffering we see. People, all living things, the planet.
Preventable suffering, yet it continues on and on.
When we feel overwhelmed, we need other to find a path, to find new ways forward.
When we feel overwhelmed, we know that to our right and to our left are the faces of caring, faces of companionship.
Joining together, we find our refuge.
We find our strength.
We find our wisdom.
We find our way forward.
The next one, When Jesus Wept, around in 4 parts. Here it is. Like I said, first published in 1770. When Jesus wept, the falling tear in mercy flowed beyond all bound. When Jesus groaned, a trembling fear seized all the guilty world around. Pretty normal sounding biblical text, but in the face of the revolution coming, and Jesus' call and cry for compassion and kindness, it carried a very different weight.
I invite you now to a time of meditation, of breath, and of rest, and in a moment of silence. There is no silence like the one we offer one another in community. It's not the absence of sound. You will still hear the rustling, the life around you. Instead, it's the silence of a welcoming embrace of all that you are, all that's in your heart, your wholeness, everything that you are held within the joy of being together. Let us hold one another in this silence.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, it knew my sorrows ground, friends to me sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end, I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end, I will sing.
I am always so touched at the special service when we have the open mic for joys and sorrows. So today I've chosen a sacred reading on joy and sorrow from Kahil Gibran. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he answered, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the same self-well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can that be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is it not the cup that holds your wine, the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep in your heart, and you shall find it is only that has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must be your joy or your sorrow rise or fall.
One of my great joys and celebrations is all the wonderful people who over the years have sung and played in orchestras and bands with me, and all the people who take their time to sing, that it enriches their lives because it has enriched mine tremendously over the years. So saying that, let's stand and sing in the gray hymnal number 315, 315, and of course the words will be on the screen as always, This Old World, another early 19th century, early American hymn.
This old world is full of sorrow, full of sickness, weak and sore. If you love your neighbor truly, love will come to you the more. We're all children of one family, we're all brothers, sisters too. If you cherish one another, love and friendship come to you. This old world can be a garden full of fragrance, full of grace. If we love our neighbors truly, we must meet them face to face. It is said, now love thy neighbor. I know well that that is true. Is the sum of human labor true for me as well as you?
In the following brief reflections, you'll hear leaders of our congregation name how feminism helps them thrive today. Now, if you listen closely, I am certain you'll hear words that talk about how you thrive. Words, concepts, ideas familiar to you. But if you also listen closely, you'll hear things about thriving that are not familiar to you, that may not even speak to how you are thriving. All of this is who we are as Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation. There is not one way, not a single way that we choose to thrive, but many remarkable facets. Each facet we offer that teaches and directs us all to the whole. We'll begin with Maria.
Hello, MVUU. I'm Maria Manconi, and I'm one of the pastoral associates here. And I'm away this week, and I couldn't resist the opportunity to talk about thriving through feminism. First, I'll spend a minute just talking about how I learned it. And I come from an Italian family. It's a family full of strong women, women who are decisive, women who insist on collaboration and fairness, women who believe that we should all be treated equal, that the color of our skin or our genes don't determine how we're supposed to get treated. So that's part of it. My mother was a decisive, kind, inclusive woman who took care of every kid on our block, and we had many of every color and many ethnicities. And so that was my background. That's how I grew up. And then, interestingly enough, I went to high school with the School Sisters of Notre Dame, and they were some of the strongest women I've ever met. And they taught me that the value of diversity, of equity, of inclusion. They taught me that I had all kinds of power because I had personal choice. And I needed to make my own choices, and I needed to understand how to fiercely defend those choices. So I left high school with that kind of a background, and I am grateful to them for that. And from there, it became a life's habit. It's a way to role model for younger women who are entering leadership, who are entering the profession that I was in for 40 years, which was education. And feminism taught me that we all have the same rights and no one should be excluded. So I thrive with that kind of a belief. It's inclusive and it's helpful to all. I recently heard Hillary Clinton say that the phrase women's rights are human rights should disappear, that it's outdated, and that what we should just be talking about are people's rights and women's rights at the forefront. And so I kind of agree with her. I kind of think that we shouldn't have to explain that, and that we should behave in a way that gives everyone the opportunities that they need to thrive. And so for me, I thrive through feminism, and I hope that the way I live my life shows others that they can too. Thanks for having me, even via video. Bye.
I welcome Debbie, our congregational president.
So I'm going to start with a radical statement. I don't consider myself to be a feminist, but I know that I have benefited greatly from the waves of feminism that came before me and that continue to evolve. I think of it as three waves of feminism. What happened in the 60s, what happened in my generation, and what is happening in what I saw with my young colleagues in the generation that followed. Partly, I was brought up to believe that I could be anything that I wanted to be, as long as I was willing to work hard. And I also, like Maria, my career was in education, and I also was in a field of foreign language education that was dominated by women. So I never felt that I faced any overt discrimination because of my sex. But nevertheless, the fact that I became the boss of people at age 28, and I was the boss of older men, and I had to evaluate their performance and try to get them, in the two cases I think of particularly, to improve their performance, that kind of window opened to me, or was accepted by people in the wider world because of the feminists who preceded me. It probably would not have been possible at an earlier point in time when teachers who were pregnant had to leave the classroom. Feminism made it possible for me to prioritize my career and my education, and not to seriously consider or feel that I needed to get married before I was 38 years old. It made it possible for me to be a tireless advocate for the inclusion of foreign language as a core subject, and to advocate before state and national boards, male-dominated boards, to argue my case for the inclusion of foreign language as a core subject. And I also witnessed what I think is the third wave of feminism. I hired many young women in my career. And what I began to notice is in the early 2000 years, that they had a much better work-life balance than I did. They weren't afraid to draw limits to the time that they devoted to their career so that they could have a rich and fulfilling life outside of their work. And I think that that's because they no longer felt, because of the feminism that preceded them, they no longer felt that they had to prove themselves by giving their all to their profession. They knew that they had every right to be there, to set their own limits, and to live their life in the most fulfilling way that they could. And that's my take on feminism.
And we certainly can applaud, but let's hold them till everyone has spoken. We have a few more people. Jerry Leggett.
Reverend Matthew has encouraged us to go freestyle, so I should set my notes over here. But, so I'm a want-to-be feminist. I want to be a feminist. Wait, I am a feminist. I'm not always sure. And of course, I want to be a better one. I just described a man, maybe, I don't know. I think what is important to me to understand about myself, and especially as I'm listening to what's going on here today, is to remind myself that you don't know what you don't know. Those are tough words, at least for me, growing up in a culture where it seems like I'm supposed to know. It seems like I'm always supposed to lead out. It seems like I'm supposed to be in charge. And as it turns out, for me to be a feminist means, as a man, listen with humility, learn. And so that's the biggest challenge, I think, for me in terms of this being a feminist in a world and a culture where I don't feel very comfortable, because I know I've got a long, long way to go. I've learned so much from my partner, Patsy. She's a retired trauma therapist who spent nearly 2 decades supporting and caring for women and men who've experienced sexual trauma in the military. Through her art project, Women Are Human, she lifts up what she calls the missing stories And those stories, including her, have become teachers for me. Patsy says, and I quote her, one of her signature statements, "The normalization of violence against women within institutions is a kind of background wallpaper in the realm of their existence." Ooh. That phrase stays with me because wallpaper is something you stop seeing, even though it surrounds you, it's pervasive. And so part of my work is learning to see what I've missed. And it turns out I missed quite a lot. I didn't grow up in anything like what you would call a feminist culture. Nada. But yet, what's hopeful for me is I know in me, whether or not I feel I can live up to it, whether or not the term is the right for me, what it is who I am and what I should be if I really believe in a world where we can all be free. My favorite tale comes from a Buddhist monk, Ajahn Chah. Ajahn Chah once said that looking for peace is like looking for a turtle with a mustache. Looking for peace is like looking for a turtle with a mustache. Ajahn Chah said, "You'll never find it." But Ajahn Chah said, when your heart is ready, peace will come looking for you. See, I think that's my journey, is to listen and open my heart and my mind to those stories that seem kind of uncomfortable at times and also seem to go against the grain of who I want to be as a man who I've been raised to be, but that guide me and help me to remember I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to get it perfect, but I can be all I'm meant to be as I work toward a different world, a fairer world. I know it begins right here, right now, and I'm really glad that we're talking about this today.
Linda Logan.
Good morning or afternoon or whatever it is. I'm Reverend Dr. Linda Logan. In the metaphysical world, there is a belief that we choose our ethnicity and that we choose what we're going to be before we get here. And I don't know if I believe it, but if it's so, I made some rough choices. I chose to be born as a descendant of African slaves in America, to have the legislation designated to assure my unfair treatment, designed to keep me on a gerbil wheel of inconsequence and at the bottom of the rung of life in this country. And to top it all off, I chose to be a black female, an identity that I was covertly instructed to be ashamed of. Damn. I had better get a big reward after this one. This is hard. What has the feminist movement done for me? At this point, I find that it just makes me very angry. It makes me very angry that it's a necessity in this world to have a feminist movement, that I have to prove that I'm okay and acceptable in this world when I am the one who creates the life on this planet, when I am the one who gives all that I have in order to make this world work. How on earth did I buy into this craziness that I'm not okay? I don't understand it. I don't understand. However, I do see a new day rising. You know, I often imagine awakened women streaming up from some dark cave where we have been kept since time immemorial, rubbing our eyes and stretching as we realize that we are no longer under restraints. Our eyes are adjusting to the light of a new reality. freedom to be ourselves, brilliant and beautiful by our own standards. The need to be passive-aggressive, a thing of the past. I don't have to pretend not to understand football anymore. Only truth spoken here. We finally see that we have been complicit in our own treatment, what I refer to as domination volunteers, falsely believing that we were inadequately prepared to take care of ourselves, removing the blinders of compliance to false standards, realizing that through our own complicity and learned passive aggression, we had kept these practices in place. I now volunteer to be a member of the emerging brigade, with my prescription sunglasses perched on my proud caramel brown Afrocentric nose. And I use the script prescribed by the wonderful poem written by Jamaican author Jean Wilson. And it says, it's entitled, "No More Smalling Up of Me. No more meekly saying yes when my heart is screaming no. No more taming my feelings so my power won't show. No more hiding my exuberance from disapproving eyes. No more watering down myself so my spirit won't rise. No more smalling up of me pretending I'm not here. No more running from the music and the spotlight's glare. No more living in this prison barricaded by my fears. No more turning and retreating in the face of new frontiers. Even as I am speaking, I am taking shape and form, harnessing my powers like a gathering storm. There's no obstacle so bold as to dare stand in my way. I am taking back my life, and I'm doing it today."
And finally, Samara Addy.
I think we should stop now. I don't know how I can follow that. And two, notes? We were allowed to have notes? When I think of the patriarchy, I think of, yes, gender roles, but I also think primarily of a system of oppression that involves a lot of power and control. And so when I think of feminism, for me, it's something, the opposite of that has really been woven through the majority of my life, even pre my life. My mother's parents, my grandparents, neither of them was educated. I think my grandfather finished some grades in elementary school, and my grandmother was sent off to be a servant at the age of 5 until years later she was sent back to her family to be married off. And so when she met my grandfather years later, and they had 5 children who survived, all 5 were daughters. And my mother and all my aunts went to school, and they finished elementary school, they finished middle school, high school, and then my mom, as the eldest, went on to college. And my grandfather was given so much flack because what's the point of educating a girl? And my grandfather, to his credit, did not agree with that. So thank you. My mom and both my parents really role modeled feminism for me, as a Middle Eastern couple who immigrated to the States. And my dad, as a result, had to live overseas a lot of the times. And so when we were here, my dad would come in and out of our lives. And every year when he would be here, our family would flex because there were new rules that would have to be created, new dynamics, because my parents had just grown in that time. And so I really got to see feminism in the sense of just growing and shifting and working and being partners with each other, which was amazing to watch. In my own life, when I think of feminism, I think of how I show up as a leader. I show in terms of not showing up as like a top-down leader, but I lead as part of a community, and that's another theme that comes in. And I could go on forever, but the last theme that really comes in with feminism is how my husband and I raise our kids. He grew up with some very strong women in his family, and he had to learn how to be a dad because that wasn't role modeled. And so for us, feminism is just how we show up very intentionally with what we want to raise our children with, what we talk about, how we discuss things, being able to teach our son, especially our son, to be kind and loving, in a society sometimes that feels like you've got to be tough, you've got to suck it up, you've got to not cry. Fortunately, I think that's changing, but unfortunately, it's still there. And so feminism, it's such a huge part of us. I think it's something we all benefit from, whether we're men, women, non-binary folks. It just goes back to working and being together communally. Thank you.
Yeah, for Maria, for Debbie, for Jerry, for Linda, for Samar. Thank you very much. Please, all of us.
Number 411 in the gray hymnal, Part in Peace. Another one from the early 19th century shape note tradition. This one's dressed up with some more modern sounding harmony, but the tune is still very much beautiful early Americana. Let's rise and sing. 411, Part in Peace, and of course on the screens.
Sing for life and light. Are the shadows lengthening o'er us? Bless thy care who guards the night. Part in peace with deep thanksgiving, rendering as we homeward tread, love and service to the living, gentle memory to the dead. Part in peace our voices raising, in thy presence always be. This the worship and the praising, bringing peace to you and me.
The future is happening here at MVUU. We are all part of it, engaging, loving, and transforming. Here are a few ways that you can get involved. Grounded in love, built for liberation is the motto of Emerge Center Against Domestic Violence. Our Woven Basket partner this month, we take an offering for their 50 years of loving and liberatory service and the healing impact they had on thousands of people in our broader community. 97% of participants in Emerge programs reported their safety improved. 100% surveyed they regained control of their life. 100% said they increased self-sufficiency. This is love and liberation in action, and we are thankful. Our Woven Basket, just outside of those doors, is a collection in gratitude for all that Emerge does. Next to it is the wooden bowl for an offering of thanks for the ministries of our congregation. As you part from our sanctuary, heading out to our patio for fellowship, please put what you can in the woven basket and wooden bowl. All that you can give will be gratefully received. The grief group, led by Terry and Ann, our grief group meets weekly on Sundays after our service and fellowship. In order to make space for Al, They are currently meeting in our oasis near our library. They welcome you to come and share the grief that in your heart, regardless of what the cause is. If any sorrow has come up for you during the service, they are here to listen and walk with you through your grief. Please speak with Terry and Anne for more details. I know you all... Oh, sorry.
I know you all have heard about our No Kings protest on March 28th. It is a public action, rejecting authoritarianism and affirming that in a democracy, power belongs among the people. You may already know that there are over 3,000 public actions taking place across all 50 states. It is clear that when our families are under attack and the costs are pushing people to the brink, Americans feel that silence is not an option. We defend ourselves and our communities against this administration's unjust and cruel acts of violence. And if you know all of that, then you know, and that MVUU is a co-host for the 8 miles of No Kings along Oracle Road. Stretching along Oracle from Tucson to Oro Valley, this action will take place at major intersections, each co-hosted by a local organization, congregation, or community group. We've been invited to anchor the faith and conscience intersection there at Oracle and Orange Grove. We will be welcoming participants to a family-friendly, peaceful, fun, and fabulous community action. We're putting democracy in action, corner by corner, community by community. And at this moment, we have nearly 200 people registered for our intersection. And what's exciting that is, we're being told that's going to be about 10% of who actually shows up. Yeah. So we're inviting you, please register, come. If it's your first time, we have instructions and we'll go with you. And today, out on our patio, you'll have the opportunity to create your own protest sign for the No Kings or other public actions. Stephanie and Robin will be outside with supplies, examples for signs, and advice on how to craft your own. They're doing that right after the service. They're also going to be doing it later at 2 o'clock for all of those people who are registered. We're inviting the community to come here. And we have another announcement about No Kings.
So yeah, we might have a lot of people. As you remember from last week, and you might have seen up front, we are looking for donations of water and applesauce for the water station. Myself and Jerry Leggett will be helping coordinate the water station. If you would like to donate to it, please donate by Wednesday. You can either donate online through the MVU website or let one of us know, and we can pick up or talk to you about it. And so, so apple and water sauce. Water and applesauce, and Jerry will be going shopping on Thursday for the rest of the supplies.
But no tequila necessary.
No tequila necessary.
No.
You sure?
Yeah. Actually, we're going to extinguish the chalice, and we'd like to have everyone participating in the service to come and stand with us.
Would you all stand, please? Choir, at least.
Our reading today is Part in Peace by our very own Reverend Matthew Funk Curry. Let us part our circle of community, bringing with us all our joys and sorrows. Let us part this sacred place, taking with us our spirit of celebration and care. Let us part in peace, sharing our joyful celebration and taking care of the sorrows of the world, with love as our guide, until we are together again.
And I'd like to invite you all to rise as you are willing and able and take the hands of those around you for our benediction. With our choir present, we can form a great big circle. We can look across that circle and we can see one another, and we can join one another in simply saying, with love as our guide, with love as our guide. Again, with love as our guide. We go out into the world saying what?
With love as our guide.
Let us go and make sure that we go with
love as our guide.
Thank you. We are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. We are strong.
We have words.
Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. We are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can.
Resilience. We are strong. Shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. Thank you.